In the past, we would now like to hear in terms of the completion strategies. We would also like to hear about the next steps as well as the challenges in our way. And to deliver this presentation, I would like to invite a representative from one of our strategic partners, the GICHD, that is the Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Demining, who have been partnering with the NMAC since 2013. And the program manager and the senior advisor for strategic planning, Mrs. Åsa Maslerberg, will be taking us through the challenges, completion strategies, as well as the next steps in the path of the Sri Lanka Mine Action Program. Over to you.
See if this works better. Yes, I think that's an improvement. Honourable Prime Minister, Ministers, Governor of Jaffna, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, I'm really honoured to be with you all here today and to be given the opportunity to share some reflections on Sri Lanka's Mine Action Programme. And I would like to start by thanking the government of Sri Lanka for your continued trust in the GICHD. We have been working closely together for a good 13 years now. And I personally had the privilege of working very closely with the Mine Action Programme for the past 10 years. So I've been working closely with the National Mine Action Centre, the Sri Lankan Army, the 4 operators including DASH, SHARP, MAG, Halo Trust, and the Sri Lanka campaign to ban landmines. And it's been a very fascinating experience to have been part of this journey for the past 10 years. So in my role as a program manager at the GICHD, I work globally and I support mine action affected countries with developing, implementing, and reviewing their strategies. And I would like to take this opportunity to share a few reflections on what I believe make Sri Lanka's Mine Action Programme very unique. So firstly, I would like to highlight the fact that the government of Sri Lanka has, over the past 10 years, always shown a very strong willingness to engage in inclusive and transparent strategic planning processes. And I would like to highlight in particular the role of the National Mine Action Centre here. And I believe that it's been this collaborative effort between all the different partners that have made the program very unique in many different ways. And what has been quite unique is that we've had very open and constructive discussions with stakeholders, including from SLA, humanitarian mining units, to campaigners from the Sri Lanka campaign to ban landmines. And I believe it's been very successful to have this continuity in having these stakeholders involved in these processes. Secondly, I see Sri Lanka's Mine Action Programme as very forward-looking and paving the way for international good practice and innovative practices. And we've heard from the director already. He mentioned the completion process, and this is considered international good practice in the global mine action sector. And it is an example of how a states party to the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention can plan for Article 5 completion in a comprehensive, structured, transparent, and inclusive manner. So the completion survey and the process was developed consultatively together with all the different stakeholders. It is community-based, gender-sensitive, and evidence-driven at its core. And the information dashboard that presents the results from the completion survey is accessible to all the different stakeholders. So it presents the results coming out of the completion survey, which GNs have been declared complete, and additional contamination that has been discovered, as well as the remaining contamination figure. And I believe that this has greatly enhanced both transparency and accountability. And I believe this is something that the government of Sri Lanka should be recognized for, because it's quite unique in the global mine action sector to see this level of transparency and accountability. And lastly, as highlighted by the NMAC Director, Mr. Nayamuddin, so Sri Lanka's mine action program has resulted in tangible outputs over the years, including the destruction of over 900,000 anti-personnel mines and almost 400,000 items of unexploded ordnance. Think about these numbers for a moment, and the fact that each one of these destroyed items represent a potential limb and life saved. And as the director mentioned as well, the number of new mine victims has reduced significantly, with a total of 3 recorded in 2024. In addition to these important immediate benefits of mine action, the release of safe land has also paved the way for safe and sustainable livelihood activities in areas in the northern and eastern provinces that suffer from poverty and limited employment opportunities. And as highlighted before, mine action has also enabled safe infrastructure construction and access to health and educational facilities. And importantly, the removal of landmines and other explosive ordnance has also enhanced safe resettlement of IDPs and has played an important role in peace building and reconciliation. The important role of women in the mine action program, including as the miners, has also contributed to strengthening their standing by providing a steady income to many female-headed households. I believe we have a great opportunity to highlight all these achievements in Sri Lanka's updated strategy, including by connecting these results with the Sustainable Development Goals to showcase mine action's role in supporting sustainable development. Dear colleagues, as highlighted earlier by the director, several challenges, including a significant reduction in funding and the discovery of previously unknown contamination, mean that Article 5 completion in 2027, 2028 is no longer realistic. I firmly believe, though, that Sri Lanka's mine action program is exceptionally strong and unified. And I am confident that amid many challenges, there will be opportunities to advocate for a broader funding base and explore new avenues to support Sri Lanka's path to completion. This will be further explored in a resource mobilization strategy that the program has started to develop. We organized a workshop on this together with all the stakeholders at the end of last year. So while it may be discouraging to hear about the discovery of previously unknown contaminated areas, I believe it is also encouraging that mine-affected communities inform operators and other stakeholders of these threats so that they can be removed in the most effective and efficient manner, capitalizing on the presence of our international operators like HALO and MAG. I think we need to remember the principal goal of mine action, that is to reduce accidents and promote safer communities. And I believe that Sri Lanka has succeeded with this in a very impressive manner. And on that note, I think it is important that we extend our appreciation to the thousands of women and men that are working under extremely difficult conditions every day to make their communities safer. I have personally been fortunate to visit many operational sites over the years, and I am so impressed with their work. They are the real heroes who deserves our respect and appreciation. So, dear colleagues, while there are many challenges on Sri Lanka's path to completion, I encourage you all to take a step back and recognize all the achievements and focus on how we all work together to support Sri Lanka on this path to completion. Recognizing the global challenges and increased conflicts have placed greater stress on multilateralism and contributed to the erosion of international humanitarian law. I believe it is even more important to support international humanitarian law, collaborate and bring the sector together to ensure that we have a unified voice that is based on clarity and evidence, so we can plan for completion. And while completion will be delayed by a few years, I strongly believe that Sri Lanka's Mine Action Programme is a success story that we all have the opportunity to contribute to. Thank you so much.